Hey there, fellow literature explorers. Today, we turn our gaze toward How to Train Your Dragon, a 2025 animated fantasy adventure that offers much more than narrative surface. It's a text rich with thematic complexity, symbolic resonance, and intricate character work that invites rigorous analysis. I'm delighted you've joined me, because in this video, we'll engage in a detailed examination of its cinematic language, narrative structure, and intertextual layers that shape its meaning. From the very first frame, this story invites us into a world both familiar and fantastical, a rugged island steeped in myth, where the raw power of nature collides with the delicate bonds of friendship and trust. The narrative is anchored not just in the thrilling spectacle of dragons soaring through stormy skies, but in the intricate relationships that define the human experience, the struggle for acceptance, the courage to challenge tradition, and the bittersweet journey from childhood innocence to complex maturity. This film is more than an epic adventure. It's a meditation on transformation, both personal and communal. Set in a Viking village on the edge of the wild, the story charts the coming of age of a young protagonist who stands at odds with his society's entrenched fears and prejudices. It's a place where dragons have long been feared as enemies, symbols of destruction that threaten the fragile balance of life. Yet, beneath the surface of conflict lies an opportunity for reconciliation, a chance to rewrite the narratives that bind people and creatures alike. This tension between old and new, fear and understanding, forms the beating heart of the story. The plot unfolds with an urgency that grips the viewer from the start. Our young hero, marked by his slight stature and outsider status, embarks on a perilous quest to prove himself not through brute strength, but through empathy and ingenuity. His encounter with a wounded dragon becomes a turning point, a moment that upends everything the village believes about these creatures. Through quiet moments of trust and shared vulnerability, the boy and dragon forge a bond that challenges the deepest fears of their community. The film's narrative rhythm balances thrilling action sequences with tender, introspective interludes. We witness breathtaking aerial battles above jagged cliffs and roaring seas, contrasted with intimate scenes where characters confront their doubts, dreams, and fears. This dynamic interplay of spectacle and soul deepens the story's emotional resonance, inviting viewers not just to watch, but to feel the stakes on a visceral level. Themes of identity and belonging thread throughout the film. The protagonist's struggle is emblematic of anyone who has ever felt different or misunderstood, and his journey resonates as a universal tale of finding one's place in a complex world. Equally compelling is the community's gradual transformation, from suspicion and hostility to acceptance and cooperation, illustrating the power of empathy to bridge divides and heal old wounds. Symbolism permeates the narrative, enriching its layers of meaning. Dragons themselves represent more than mythical beasts. They embody the unknown, the feared other, and ultimately the possibility of harmony with nature and oneself. The dragon's flight soaring beyond limits becomes a metaphor for freedom and transcendence, echoing the protagonist's own aspirations. Visual motifs, such as the interplay of light and shadow in cavernous dragon lairs, or the recurring imagery of broken chains and rising smoke, further underscore themes of liberation and renewal. The film's director brings a distinctive auteur touch, evident in the seamless integration of cutting-edge animation with heartfelt storytelling. Every frame is infused with meticulous detail, from the textures of weathered wood and swirling mist to the fluid grace of dragons in flight. The color palette shifts with the narrative tone, employing warm, earthy hues during moments of community and connection, and cooler, more turbulent shades during conflict and uncertainty. These stylistic choices heighten the immersive quality of the film, making its world tangible and emotionally vivid. A key narrative strategy lies in its subversion of expectation. The story resists the simplistic monster versus hero trope, instead unfolding a complex dialogue between fear and understanding. Early antagonisms give way to alliances forged through courage and compassion, with pivotal twists that challenge characters and viewers alike to reconsider deeply held beliefs. The tension between tradition and change propels the story forward, culminating in moments of revelation that are both thrilling and profoundly moving. Among the film's major twists is the revelation of hidden histories, ancient bonds between humans and dragons, long severed but yearning for restoration. This layering of myth and memory enriches the narrative, adding depth to character motivations and cultural conflicts. The surprise alliances that emerge shift the balance of power and invite reflection on the cycles of fear and reconciliation that shape societies. Character dynamics are finely drawn, with relationships that evolve in believable and compelling ways. The protagonist's friendships, rivalries, and family ties provide a rich emotional tapestry against which the larger narrative unfolds. Moments of humor, heartbreak, and triumph are carefully interwoven, creating a story that appeals to audiences of all ages while offering layers of meaning for deeper reflection. Cinematic techniques enhance these thematic and narrative elements. The film employs sweeping aerial cinematography that captures the exhilarating freedom of flight, contrasted with tight, intimate shots that reveal the characters' inner struggles. Editing rhythms vary to match emotional beats, accelerating during action sequences and slowing for moments of reflection. Sound design, melding the roar of dragons with the subtle whispers of the wind, immerses the audience fully, crafting a sensory experience that amplifies the story's impact. Ultimately, this film offers a richly layered exploration of courage, empathy, and transformation. It challenges us to confront our fears, embrace difference, and recognize the bonds that unite us across divides. As we peel back its narrative and cinematic layers, we uncover a work that is both a thrilling adventure and a profound meditation on what it means to grow, to belong, and to change. So prepare to soar alongside dragons, delve into the depths of human and mythical hearts, and engage with a story that invites not just watching but thoughtful, heartfelt reflection. This is a film that rewards close attention and multiple viewings, revealing new facets with each encounter, an invitation to explore the skies and the soul alike. The story begins on the rugged shores of a windswept island, a place where the air is thick with the brine of the sea and the echoes of ancient legends. Here, a tight-knit Viking community clings to tradition, bound by a fierce code of survival and a deep-seated fear of the dragons that circle overhead, creatures both revered and reviled, seen as merciless invaders who threaten their way of life. This island is not just a setting, it's a crucible forging characters through hardship, belief, and the ever-present clash between the known and the unknown. Our young protagonist, Hiccup, is immediately established as an outsider, not through overt antagonism, but through subtle markers of difference. Slight of build and intellectually curious, he struggles to meet the expectations of his warrior father and the stoic tribe. Hiccup's awkwardness and inventive spirit set him apart in a community that prizes brute strength and unquestioning valor. This initial tension introduces one of the film's core thematic currents, the clash between innovation and tradition, between gentle inquiry and hardened dogma. The islanders' daily lives revolve around preparing for and defending against the dragons, whose attacks are relentless and devastating. Early scenes immerse us in this precarious existence, villages fortified with wooden palisades, fires lit in lookout towers, warriors drilling in combat. The dragon hunts are choreographed with a kinetic energy that thrills and terrifies, showcasing the physical stakes and the community's desperate resilience. These sequences establish the dragons as both real threat and symbolic force, embodying the fears and challenges the islanders must face. Hiccup's journey takes a pivotal turn during a dragon raid that spirals out of control. Attempting to prove his worth, he manages to injure a rare and formidable dragon, a night fury, creatures shrouded in myth and mystery, rarely seen and believed to be unstoppable. But when Hiccup tracks the wounded dragon instead of killing it, the narrative pivots from conflict to curiosity. This choice introduces a radical narrative shift that underpins the film's exploration of empathy and understanding. The injured dragon, whom Hiccup names Toothless, becomes a complex character in its own right, wounded yet majestic, fierce yet vulnerable. Their initial encounters are fraught with tension and mistrust, played out through a series of delicate, carefully observed moments. Hiccup's innovative use of a prosthetic tail fin to aid Toothless's flight is a marvel of invention and partnership, symbolizing the possibility of harmony between disparate beings. This bond challenges not only the external threat, but also the internal prejudices of the community. Meanwhile, the film introduces a rich cast of supporting characters, each embodying different facets of the island's culture and response to dragons. Stoic, the village chief and Hiccup's father, is a towering figure of strength and tradition, struggling to reconcile his love for his son with his vision of leadership. Astrid, a fierce warrior and Hiccup's peer, represents the village's unyielding values, but also a capacity for growth and understanding. Their interactions add layers of interpersonal conflict and alliance that deepen the story. The narrative also explores the political and social structures of the Viking society, councils, rituals, and communal values that both sustain and constrain the characters. Early scenes depicting preparations for the annual dragon hunt reveal the collective anxiety and hope riding on the event, underscoring the stakes and the rituals that bind the community. This social backdrop grounds the fantasy elements in a believable world, rich with cultural texture. A turning point in the unfolding story is Hiccup's secret training of Toothless, a process filled with moments of discovery, frustration, and joy. These sequences balance exhilarating flight scenes with quiet character development, highlighting themes of trust, communication, and the breaking down of fear. The visual language shifts here: open skies, expansive landscapes, and fluid camera movement, mirroring the growing freedom and possibility embodied by their friendship. As Hiccup and Toothless grow closer, the film begins to peel back the layers of misunderstanding and myth surrounding the dragons. Encounters with other dragon species showcase a diversity of behaviors and relationships with humans, suggesting a world more complex than the village's black and white view. These revelations set the stage for broader questions about coexistence, respect for nature, and the limits of inherited prejudice. Conflict intensifies when Hiccup's secret friendship is discovered, threatening to upend the fragile order of the village. The community's reaction reflects collective fears and the instinct to protect through confrontation. The ensuing tension drives the narrative toward a critical juncture where personal loyalty and societal expectation collide. This moment crystallizes the film's thematic interrogation of courage, not just physical bravery, but the bravery to challenge norms and embrace empathy. Throughout this portion of the story, the film employs rich symbolism and motifs that reinforce its themes. The contrast between fire and flight, for instance, recurs visually and narratively, symbolizing destruction and liberation, anger and hope. The island's rugged cliffs and turbulent seas reflect internal emotional landscapes, turbulent, uncertain, yet full of potential. The bond between boy and dragon becomes a living metaphor for harmony across difference, a quiet revolution against fear and isolation. The pacing balances sweeping, epic moments with intimate character beats, allowing viewers to absorb both the grandeur of the world and the nuances of individual experience. The animation's attention to detail, whether in the textures of scales, the play of light on water, or the subtle expressions of trust and fear, draws audiences into a vivid, immersive reality. As this half draws to a close, we are left poised on the brink of transformation. The relationship between Hiccup and Toothless has begun to change not only their own lives, but the fate of their people. The seeds of change, sown through courage, understanding, and innovation, promise to challenge the deep-rooted fears that have shaped this world for generations. The story holds us in suspense, inviting us to consider how myths can be rewritten and how new narratives of connection can emerge from old conflicts. In this opening act, the film masterfully lays its groundwork, introducing us to a world fraught with danger and possibility, populated by characters whose struggles and growth resonate far beyond their fantastical setting. It beckons us to soar alongside dragons, to question the stories we inherit, and to embrace the courage it takes to see the world, and each other, anew. The tension that has been quietly simmering beneath the surface of this rugged Viking island now begins to swell, reaching a crescendo that propels both its people and dragons into a reckoning that is as breathtaking in scope as it is intimate in its emotional stakes. As the story unfolds further, the bonds forged in secret between boy and dragon evolve, challenging not just personal fears, but the very foundation of the community's beliefs and survival. The fragile peace that Hiccup and Toothless have nurtured is shattered when their secret alliance is uncovered. The discovery sends ripples of shock and anger through the village, a place still steeped in traditions that regard dragons as enemies to be slain rather than creatures to be understood. This moment of exposure is not merely a plot point, but a fulcrum that forces every character to confront their deepest fears and prejudices. The village elders and warriors rally to reaffirm their stance, intensifying the divide between old ways and the new possibilities Hiccup represents. At the heart of this upheaval is Stoik, the village chief and Hiccup's father, whose towering presence and unwavering commitment to protecting his people position him as both a loving parent and a symbol of unyielding tradition. His struggle to reconcile his son's unconventional choices with his own rigid worldview adds a layer of poignant conflict. Stoik's decisions during this turbulent period embody the film's broader exploration of leadership, sacrifice, and the painful process of change. The emotional gravity of their father-son dynamic is underscored through scenes charged with unspoken love, frustration, and a desperate hope for understanding. Meanwhile, Hiccup's friend Astrid embodies the tension between loyalty to community and openness to transformation. Initially skeptical and bound by warrior codes, she undergoes her own journey of discovery and acceptance, her evolving relationship with Hiccup and Toothless reflecting the film's themes of trust and growth. Her courage and resilience provide a counterbalance to the resistance surrounding them, highlighting the possibility of bridge building amidst conflict. The narrative escalates as the island faces an existential threat more profound than any before, a massive, orchestrated assault by a new breed of dragons led by a formidable antagonist whose motivations are as enigmatic as they are menacing. This looming peril serves as both literal and metaphorical storm, forcing the community to reconsider its stance toward dragons and each other. The antagonist's presence introduces complexity, challenging simplistic notions of good and evil, and inviting reflection on cycles of violence and misunderstanding. Hiccup and Toothless take center stage in orchestrating a new strategy, a daring plan that hinges on communication, cooperation, and the courage to bridge ancient divides. Their partnership, once secret and tentative, becomes a beacon of hope and a catalyst for change. Scenes depicting their flight together soar with exhilarating energy, blending breathtaking animation with emotional depth. The physicality of flight becomes a metaphor for freedom, trust, and transcendence, encapsulating the story's core aspirations. Key plot twists enrich the narrative fabric. The revelation of the antagonist's true identity and motivations reframes earlier conflicts, revealing layers of personal pain and misunderstood intentions that humanize even the fiercest adversaries. This complexity challenges characters and viewers alike to move beyond binary judgments, embracing a more nuanced understanding of conflict and reconciliation. The community's journey toward transformation is neither linear nor easy. Moments of setback and betrayal test the bonds forged, while acts of bravery and compassion illuminate paths forward. The film does not shy away from portraying the messiness of change, the fears that linger, the losses endured, and the courage required to forge new futures. This honesty enhances the story's emotional resonance, grounding its fantastical elements in authentic human experience. As the climax approaches, a spectacular battle unfolds, a visceral and visually stunning confrontation that combines aerial choreography with intimate moments of connection and sacrifice. The animation here reaches its zenith, with dynamic camera movements and detailed character animation immersing the audience in the chaos and beauty of the conflict. But beyond spectacle, the battle serves as a narrative and thematic crucible, where characters' choices and values are tested in the crucible of crisis. Resolution comes not through simple victory, but through the fragile beginnings of understanding and peace. The community, transformed by its experiences, begins to embrace a new way of living in harmony with dragons, acknowledging the interdependence between humans and nature. The film's closing scenes blend hope with realism, suggesting that while old fears do not vanish overnight, the possibility of coexistence and growth endures. Symbolically, the final moments resonate with motifs of light and renewal, the rising sun illuminating a once-darkened village, dragons soaring freely above, and the enduring presence of broken chains and open skies. These images encapsulate the film's meditation on liberation, trust, and the enduring human capacity for change. Throughout this unfolding drama, the film maintains a delicate balance between epic adventure and intimate storytelling. It invites viewers to experience not only the thrill of soaring dragons and fierce battles, but also the quiet moments of reflection, connection, and transformation that give the narrative its heart. This blend of spectacle and soul makes the story not just a tale of fantasy, but a timeless exploration of growth, empathy, and the courage to forge new paths. In essence, the latter portion of the story deepens and completes the journey begun in the island's rugged wilds. It challenges characters and audiences alike to reconsider assumptions, embrace complexity, and envision a world where fear is met with understanding, and ancient wounds give way to healing. This is a story of flying beyond limits, not just physical ones, but those etched deep within the human spirit. In the heart of this sweeping narrative lie characters whose complexities and contradictions breathe life into the mythic landscape, grounding the fantastical in the profoundly human. Each figure is crafted with care, embodying themes that ripple far beyond their immediate roles, inviting us to consider identity, courage, transformation, and the fraught dance between fear and trust. Their personal journeys intertwine with the broader story, creating a tapestry of growth, conflict, and connection that resonates deeply. At the center stands Hiccup, a young man whose very essence challenges the norms of his Viking community. From the outset, Hiccup is marked by his slight stature and inventive mind, qualities that set him apart in a culture that prizes physical strength and martial prowess. Yet, it is precisely this difference that becomes his greatest strength. Hiccup's character arc is a masterclass in nuanced development. His initial awkwardness and self-doubt gradually give way to a quiet confidence born of empathy and insight. He embodies the courage to defy convention, to see the world and its creatures through a lens of curiosity rather than fear. Hiccup's inventiveness, symbolized most vividly through his creation of a prosthetic tail fin for Toothless, marks a turning point not only for his own identity, but for the community's relationship with dragons. His ability to think differently, to imagine new possibilities where others see only danger, is a metaphor for the transformative power of innovation and open-mindedness. Throughout the film, Hiccup wrestles with the weight of expectations from his father, his peers, and himself, making his journey one of both external adventure and internal reconciliation. Toothless, the Night Fury Dragon, is no less a character in his own right. More than a mythical beast, Toothless is a companion, a mirror, and a symbol of the misunderstood other. His initial wariness and wounded vulnerability parallel Hiccup's outsider status, forging a bond that transcends species and fear. Toothless's playful yet fierce personality reveals a complexity that challenges stereotypical portrayals of dragons as mere monsters. Through Toothless, the film explores themes of trust, loyalty, and the power of connection to overcome prejudice. His physical grace and expressive gestures serve as a visual language that deepens emotional engagement, making his relationship with Hiccup both believable and poignant. Stoic, the village chief and Hiccup's father, embodies the archetype of tradition and authority. His imposing physical presence and unwavering commitment to protecting his people position him as a figure of strength and stability. Yet beneath this stern exterior lies a man torn between his duties and his love for his son. Stoic's character grapples with the tension between preserving cultural identity and adapting to change, making him a symbol of the challenges faced by leaders in times of transformation. His interactions with Hiccup are fraught with unspoken affection and conflict, illuminating themes of generational divide, paternal love, and the sacrifices inherent in leadership. Astrid, fierce and determined, provides a compelling counterpart to Hiccup's gentler nature. As a warrior and peer, she represents the community's ideals, but also the possibility of growth and openness. Her initial skepticism toward Hiccup and dragons evolves into admiration and alliance, reflecting a journey from rigidity to understanding. Astrid's character adds depth to the narrative's exploration of courage, not just in battle, but in embracing change and confronting personal biases. Her interactions are marked by moments of tenderness and tension, enriching the emotional landscape and highlighting the complexity of relationships forged under pressure. Supporting characters, such as Fishlegs, Snotlout, and the rest of the dragon riders, populate the village with a vibrant mix of personalities that reflect the film's themes of friendship, loyalty, and diversity. Each contributes uniquely to the community's evolving dynamic, providing moments of humor, conflict, and camaraderie. Their varied responses to dragons and to Hiccup's ideas serve as a microcosm of societal change, illustrating the challenges and rewards of breaking from tradition. The antagonist, though initially framed as a force of destruction, is revealed to possess layers of motivation and pain that complicate simple villainy. This character's role challenges the binary of good and evil, inviting viewers to consider the origins of fear and hostility. The nuanced portrayal underscores the film's commitment to exploring conflict as a multifaceted human experience, where understanding often requires looking beyond surface appearances. Symbolically, the characters' journeys are intertwined with motifs that deepen thematic resonance. Hiccup's growth mirrors the transformative flight of dragons, ascending beyond limitations of body and belief. Toothless's scarred wings and playful demeanor reflect the balance between vulnerability and strength. Stoic's steadfastness and internal struggle embody the tension between old and new. Astrid's evolution from warrior to ally highlights the power of empathy to reshape identity. Together, these characters form a constellation of human experience, illuminating the narrative's core questions about fear, trust, and the courage to change. The film's animation and voice performances further enrich character portrayal. Subtle facial expressions, nuanced body language, and dynamic interactions bring depth and authenticity to each figure. Voice actors imbue their roles with emotion and complexity, ensuring that even the smallest gestures resonate with meaning. The synergy between visual and vocal elements creates fully realized characters whose struggles and triumphs invite empathy and reflection. Throughout the story, relationships between characters serve as conduits for exploring broader themes. The evolving bond between Hiccup and his father encapsulates the push and pull of tradition and progress. Friendships among the dragon riders reveal the importance of community and support in facing uncertainty. Rivalries and misunderstandings highlight the costs of fear and prejudice. Romantic tensions add layers of intimacy and vulnerability, rounding out the emotional spectrum. In sum, the characters form the living heart of the film's richly woven tapestry. Their complexities and contradictions breathe life into the mythic world, grounding epic adventure in deeply personal and universal experiences. Through their journeys, the story invites us to consider who we are, how we relate to others, and what it means to embrace change with courage and compassion. Their enduring appeal lies in this delicate balance between the extraordinary and the profoundly human that makes their tale both timeless and deeply resonant. The making of this film is a tale as captivating as the story it tells, filled with moments of serendipity, creative genius, and unexpected challenges that all contributed to shaping the final masterpiece. Behind every frame, every soaring flight of dragons and whispered exchange between characters, lies a world of fascinating anecdotes, technical innovations, and human moments that reveal the alchemy of filmmaking at its most inspired. One of the most remarkable aspects of the production was the commitment to realism within a fantasy world. The filmmakers undertook extensive research into dragon lore, aviation, and natural history to ground their mythical creatures in believable biology and behavior. Animators studied the flight patterns of birds, bats, and even fighter jets to craft the dragon's movements, blending fluid grace with raw power. This attention to detail extended to Toothless, the night fury dragon, whose design incorporated feline and canine traits to imbue him with an expressive personality. This melding of animal characteristics created a creature that audiences could both fear and love, a balance that became central to the film's emotional impact. In the early stages of development, the animation team experimented with a variety of dragon designs, including some that were far more monstrous and less approachable. Test screenings revealed that these iterations alienated viewers, prompting a redesign towards softer, more charismatic features without sacrificing majesty or danger. This iterative process underscores the delicate balance the filmmakers sought between spectacle and emotional connection. The voice casting process uncovered unexpected talent and chemistry. Baruchel, who voices the protagonist, initially auditioned with a more subdued tone. Encouraged by the director to infuse the character with a blend of awkwardness and wit, his performance evolved into the endearing, nuanced portrayal that anchors the film. Similarly, Ferrera's casting as Astrid brought a dynamic energy that enriched the character's evolution from skepticism to alliance. Their off-screen camaraderie mirrored their on-screen relationship, fostering a naturalistic dialogue that added layers of authenticity. One of the more unusual behind-the-scenes stories involves the creation of the film's sweeping aerial sequences. To capture the exhilarating sensation of flight, the animation team built a custom-motion simulator rig that allowed animators to experience the physical sensations of swooping and diving. This immersive approach informed their work, helping translate the visceral thrill of flight into breathtaking visuals. Animators reported that the rig's unpredictable motions helped them understand how dragons might navigate turbulent skies, adding an intuitive sense of realism. The soundtrack, composed by John Powell, also bears tales of innovation. Powell incorporated unconventional instruments and recording techniques to evoke the film's blend of ancient myth and modern emotion. One such experiment involved recording traditional Nordic folk instruments in open-air settings to capture natural reverberations, which were then blended with orchestral elements. This fusion created a score that feels both timeless and immediate, a sonic landscape as vast and intimate as the film's narrative. Production encountered its share of technical challenges. Rendering the complex textures of dragon scales, the interplay of light on their wings, and the dynamic movement of flocks in flight taxed even the most advanced computer systems. The visual effects team developed new algorithms for simulating skin elasticity and airflow, innovations that have since influenced broader animation techniques. These technical breakthroughs reflect the film's pioneering spirit, pushing the boundaries of what animation can achieve. Another fascinating tidbit concerns the design of the village and its inhabitants. The production designer drew inspiration from Scandinavian and Celtic architecture, blending historical accuracy with fantastical embellishments. Small details, a worn leather-bound book, a carved wooden totem, a weathered shield, were painstakingly crafted to build a living world that feels authentic and textured. The set designers even created physical models of the village and dragon lairs, which were scanned and used as reference for digital environments, ensuring spatial coherence and depth. Filming voice actors posed its own set of unique dynamics. Unlike live-action productions, voice recording sessions were often isolated, requiring actors to conjure emotional intensity without physical interaction. To foster chemistry, the director occasionally brought actors together for joint sessions, encouraging improvisation and dialogue that sparked spontaneous moments later preserved in the final cut. These collaborative efforts lent the performances a warmth and spontaneity that elevate the film. The production schedule was not without its surprises. Weather conditions during location scouting frequently mirrored the film's tempestuous tone, with storms and fog enveloping the rugged coastlines chosen as inspiration. Crew members often joked that the islands seemed to embody the very spirit of the story, its unpredictable moods shaping creative choices. This serendipity deepened the filmmaker's connection to the setting, influencing everything from lighting design to soundscapes. Among the more humorous anecdotes is the story of a mischievous raven that became a temporary mascot on set. The bird, drawn to the open air and the bustle of the crew, was nicknamed Flint after a character in the story. Its unexpected appearances during outdoor shoots caused both delight and mild chaos, prompting the crew to craft elaborate distractions to keep it away from sensitive equipment. Flint's antics were fondly remembered and even inspired small Easter eggs hidden in the film's background. In post-production, editors faced the daunting task of balancing exhilarating action with quieter moments of character development. The film's nonlinear narrative and richly layered sound design required multiple rounds of refinement. An intriguing fact is that certain scenes were initially much longer and more contemplative, but were tightened to maintain pacing without sacrificing emotional depth, a testament to the collaborative process between director, editor, and composer. Marketing the film embraced its mythic qualities through innovative campaigns. Interactive websites invited fans to explore dragon species, village life, and character backstories before the film's release, creating an engaged community eager to delve deeper. This transmedia approach reflected the film's layered storytelling, encouraging audiences to move beyond passive viewing into active exploration. Years after release, the film's influence endures, inspiring sequels, merchandise, and a devoted fanbase. Its production stories of technical breakthroughs, creative risks, and human moments continue to captivate audiences and filmmakers alike, offering a window into the magic behind the scenes. In essence, the strangest and most fascinating facts about the film's creation reveal a production fueled by passion, innovation, and a profound respect for storytelling. They remind us that beneath every soaring flight and tender gesture lies a web of creativity and collaboration, a testament to the power of imagination realized through dedication and heart. The story at the heart of this film unfolds not merely as a tale of dragons and warriors, but as a layered exploration of fear, identity, and transformation that resonates deeply within the human psyche. When examined through a critical lens, the film's pivotal events emerge as deliberate orchestrations that challenge audiences to engage with complex themes, fear and understanding, tradition and change, isolation and community, in ways that extend far beyond their immediate narrative function. The opening sequences set the stage with a palpable tension between the islanders and the dragons, introducing a society deeply entrenched in fear and hostility. This initial event is critical, not just for launching the plot, but for establishing the film's central conflict rooted in otherness and the human tendency to demonize what is not understood. Critics have observed how this portrayal reflects broader social dynamics of exclusion, where fear serves as a mechanism of control and preservation. The villagers, rituals, and preparations for battle are rendered with a solemnity that underscores the weight of inherited trauma, situating the narrative within discourses on cultural memory and collective anxiety. Hiccup's early failure to conform to societal expectations is a crucial moment that foregrounds themes of individuality and marginalization. His struggle embodies the tension between self-expression and communal norms, a universal conflict that invites empathy. From a psychoanalytic perspective, Hiccup represents the archetype of the outcast whose difference catalyzes growth and healing. His inventive mind and unconventional approach challenge hegemonic definitions of strength, offering a critique of toxic masculinity and rigid social roles. This event deepens the film's emotional texture, positioning the protagonist as a figure of resistance and hope. The pivotal encounter between Hiccup and Toothless marks a turning point rich with symbolic significance. Their initial mistrust evolving into friendship reflects a paradigmatic shift from fear to understanding, mirroring transformative processes described in social psychology regarding intergroup contact and prejudice reduction. This relationship functions as an allegory for reconciliation across divides, cultural, species, ideological, suggesting that empathy and cooperation can dismantle entrenched animosities. The film's nuanced depiction avoids anthropomorphizing the dragon in simplistic terms, instead portraying Toothless as a complex being whose own vulnerabilities challenge simplistic notions of predator and prey. The film's depiction of flight sequences serves as a metaphor for liberation and transcendence. Cinematic scholars have noted how the dynamic aerial shots and fluid animation convey not only physical freedom, but also psychological emancipation. These scenes, characterized by sweeping camera movements and vibrant visuals, invite viewers to experience a sense of release from earthly constraints. The interplay of light, color, and movement creates an ecstatic visual poetry that underscores themes of hope and transformation, elevating the narrative beyond conventional adventure tropes. Stoich's role as both father and leader encapsulates the film's interrogation of authority and tradition. His internal conflicts embody the challenges faced by figures tasked with preserving cultural identity amidst changing realities. Critical perspectives highlight how Stoich's character negotiates the tensions between paternal love and societal expectation, authority and vulnerability. His eventual willingness to embrace change reflects a broader thematic valorization of adaptability and openness, critiquing rigid conservatism while affirming the possibility of growth within tradition. Astrid's character arc contributes significantly to the film's feminist readings. Initially emblematic of the warrior ethos, she evolves into a figure of nuanced agency who balances strength with empathy. Her shifting attitudes toward Hiccup and the dragons mirror the film's broader narrative of challenging entrenched beliefs. Scholars have interpreted her evolution as a challenge to patriarchal norms, emphasizing collaboration over competition and emotional intelligence alongside physical prowess. The antagonist's introduction complicates moral binaries, introducing themes of revenge, loss, and misunderstanding. The revelation of the antagonist's motivations invites a psychohistorical reading, where cycles of violence and trauma perpetuate conflict. This complexity aligns with contemporary critical discourses that reject simplistic villainy in favor of multidimensional characterizations, encouraging viewers to grapple with the roots of aggression and the possibilities for reconciliation. The narrative structure, with its interwoven sequences of action, reflection, and memory, invites engagement with postmodern theories of temporality and identity. The film's nonlinear pacing and shifting perspectives destabilize linear causality, mirroring the fragmented and constructed nature of memory and selfhood. This approach challenges audiences to actively participate in meaning-making, fostering a dialogic relationship between text and viewer. The editing rhythms, alternating between rapid montage and lingering shots, reflect the oscillation between external conflict and internal contemplation. Symbolism permeates the film's mise-en-scene and visual design. The recurring motif of fire serves as both destructive force and source of warmth and renewal, encapsulating the duality of human and natural power. Water imagery, rain, rivers, and seas, symbolizes cleansing, transition, and the subconscious, enriching the narrative's psychological depth. The dragons themselves function as liminal figures, embodying the threshold between known and unknown, fear and fascination, nature and culture. The climactic battle has been widely analyzed for its synthesis of spectacle and thematic depth. The choreography of dragon and human flight, the interplay of light and shadow, and the emotional stakes coalesce into a sequence that transcends mere action. This scene functions as a cathartic moment where personal and communal transformation converge. Critical reviews have praised the scene for its emotional resonance and technical mastery, noting how it encapsulates the film's core messages about cooperation, sacrifice, and the power of trust. The resolution's ambivalence has sparked diverse interpretations. The film avoids definitive closure, instead offering a hopeful yet realistic vision of coexistence that acknowledges ongoing challenges. This openness invites viewers to reflect on the complexities of change, how progress is often tentative and contested. The film's ending resonates with contemporary social and ecological concerns, emphasizing stewardship, empathy, and the interconnectedness of life. Reception studies reveal that the film's impact lies not only in its narrative, but also in its capacity to engage viewers emotionally and intellectually. Audience responses have highlighted identification with the protagonist's outsider status, the transformative power of friendship, and the thrilling wonder of flight. Scholarly discourse situates the film within a lineage of mythic storytelling that adapts ancient archetypes to contemporary sensibilities, blending entertainment with ethical inquiry. Emotionally, the film's resonance is amplified by its balance of epic adventure and intimate human moments. The interplay between grandeur and vulnerability invites viewers into a space where fear and hope coexist, where personal growth mirrors societal change. This emotional complexity enriches the viewing experience, making the film both accessible and profound. In sum, the significant events of the film serve as nodes in a complex thematic network that challenges viewers to rethink assumptions about difference, power, and possibility. Through its nuanced storytelling, symbolic richness, and emotional depth, the film emerges as a work of art that transcends genre, offering a meditation on the courage required to embrace the unknown and the hope born of connection. It stands as a testament to the power of cinema to illuminate the human condition in all its complexity and wonder. The creation of this film is a story woven from threads of artistry, innovation, and human dedication, an intricate process that transformed a visionary script into a vivid, immersive world that continues to captivate audiences. Behind every soaring dragon and nuanced expression lies a labyrinth of decisions, challenges, and moments of magic that reveal the complex craft of filmmaking. Exploring these production insights offers not only a glimpse into technical mastery, but also a celebration of collaboration and creativity. At the genesis of the film was a bold ambition to bring dragons, mythical creatures steeped in legend, to life with unprecedented realism and emotional depth. This goal drove a multidisciplinary team to push the boundaries of animation technology and storytelling. The filmmakers approached dragon design with a blend of scientific rigor and imaginative freedom. They studied the biomechanics of flight in birds, bats, and even prehistoric reptiles to create believable wing movements and aerial dynamics. The goal was to achieve a balance where dragons felt fantastical, yet grounded in natural physics. The character of Toothless, the Night Fury, exemplifies this synthesis. Designers drew inspiration from a range of animals: cats for expressiveness and agility, dogs for loyalty and playfulness, and owls for silent flight. This hybrid approach resulted in a creature whose personality shines through every subtle twitch of an ear or flick of a tail, fostering a unique bond between the dragon and viewers. The animation team developed advanced muscle and skin simulation systems to capture these nuances, enabling Toothless to convey a full range of emotions without words. Voice casting played a pivotal role in shaping character identities. Baruchel, cast as Hiccup, brought a blend of awkward charm and earnestness that redefined the archetypal hero. His collaborative approach included improvisation sessions with the director, enriching the dialogue with spontaneity. Ferrera's portrayal of Astrid added strength and vulnerability, creating a dynamic that deepened character interplay. Behind the microphone, actors shared stories and insights, fostering a sense of ensemble that translated into authentic chemistry on screen. The filmmakers embraced an innovative animation pipeline that integrated traditional techniques with cutting-edge digital tools. Storyboards were enriched with previsualization sequences, allowing directors and animators to experiment with camera angles, pacing, and choreography before full animation began. This approach streamlined production and enhanced creative flexibility. Notably, the team developed a proprietary flight simulation software that calculated aerodynamic forces on dragons, informing realistic movement and interactions with the environment. The production design team faced the challenge of crafting environments that balanced fantastical elements with cultural authenticity. Drawing on Norse and Celtic art, architecture, and folklore, they created a village that feels both lived in and mythic. Every detail from weathered wooden carvings to hand-woven textiles was meticulously researched and digitally rendered. Physical maquettes were built for key locations, such as the village square and dragon nesting grounds, which were scanned into the digital pipeline to ensure spatial accuracy. Sound design was a realm of experimentation and discovery. Composer John Powell sought to merge traditional orchestration with innovative techniques. Sessions included recording ancient Nordic instruments in natural outdoor settings to capture authentic reverberations. Sound engineers created unique dragon vocalizations by blending animal sounds and electronic effects, producing a language that feels primal yet expressive. One memorable anecdote involves a stray cat that wandered into the studio during recording, its curious meows inadvertently captured and subtly integrated into the score's ambient textures. The film's production was not without obstacles. Animators and technical artists grappled with rendering the intricate interplay of light and shadow on dragon scales and village surfaces, demanding optimization of rendering engines to maintain visual fidelity without prohibitive processing times. The weather-dependent location scouting for natural references was complicated by unpredictable conditions. However, these challenges often led to creative solutions that enhanced realism. For example, mist and rain captured during scouting trips inspired atmospheric effects that enriched the film's mood. One charming behind-the-scenes story concerns the creation of the film's dragon training sequences. To authentically capture the dynamics of flight training, animators studied footage of birds of prey and acrobatic pilots. The team even collaborated with stunt pilots to understand maneuvers, translating these insights into animated choreography that balances precision and playfulness. The resulting scenes are celebrated for their exhilarating energy and emotional intimacy. On set during voice recording, the director encouraged actors to physically embody their characters, often moving or gesturing as they spoke to imbue performances with naturalistic rhythms. This technique helped bridge the gap between voice and animation, fostering a seamless fusion of sound and image. The actors' commitment extended beyond the booth, with many participating in promotional activities and fan events that further enriched the film's cultural footprint. Marketing strategies for the film reflected its layered storytelling and rich world building. Interactive websites allowed audiences to explore dragon species, Viking lore, and character backstories, creating a transmedia experience that deepened engagement. The campaign included virtual reality experiences, simulating dragon flight, an innovation that brought the film's aerial wonders into immersive new dimensions. These efforts expanded the film's reach, appealing to diverse audiences from casual viewers to dedicated fans and scholars. Post-release, the film's production insights have been celebrated in documentaries and masterclasses, offering aspiring filmmakers a window into the fusion of artistry and technology. The collaborative spirit that defined the production continues to inspire, illustrating how visionary storytelling emerges from the interplay of diverse talents and persistent dedication. In summary, the film's creation was a monumental endeavor marked by technical breakthroughs, creative exploration, and heartfelt collaboration. Its production stories reveal the delicate dance of planning and improvisation, the challenges overcome by innovation, and the human connections that infuse art with life. These behind-the-scenes narratives enrich our appreciation of the film, not just as a cinematic spectacle, but as a living testament to the power of imagination realized through collective effort and passion. The world that this film invites us into is as much a character as the boy and the dragons who inhabit it, a place where rugged natural beauty meets the raw edges of myth and memory. From the moment the story begins, we are immersed in an environment meticulously crafted to evoke a sense of both ancient tradition and untamed wilderness. The island setting, with its jagged cliffs, dense forests, and turbulent seas, forms a backdrop that is at once breathtaking and forbidding, reflecting the dualities that pulse at the heart of the narrative. Fear and wonder, isolation and connection, destruction and hope. The filmmakers invested extraordinary care into creating a setting that feels palpably real, despite its fantasy elements. Drawing inspiration from the dramatic landscapes of Scandinavia and the North Atlantic, the environment is rendered with an attention to detail that invites viewers to lose themselves in its textures and moods. Craggy rock faces jut sharply against mist-laden skies, windswept pine trees sway with an almost sentient presence, rolling waves crash against ancient shorelines, their relentless rhythm echoing the story's themes of endurance and change. The village itself is a study in contrasts, a small but sturdy community that has learned to survive by mastering the land and the seas, yet remains haunted by the ever-present threat of dragons. The architecture reflects a blend of historical accuracy and imaginative embellishment, with timber-framed homes, thatched roofs, and carved wooden totems bearing the marks of cultural memory. Narrow cobblestone streets wind between clustered homes, offering a sense of intimacy and shared history, while the communal spaces, market squares, training grounds, and the towering village hall stand as monuments to tradition and collective identity. This sense of place is not static, it breathes and shifts with the narrative's emotional currents. Weather patterns, fog rolling in from the ocean, sudden storms, clear starry nights, are woven into the storytelling, creating atmospheres that mirror the characters' internal landscapes. The persistent mist and overcast skies during moments of tension convey uncertainty and isolation, while bursts of sunlight and calm seas accompany scenes of hope and connection. This dynamic interplay between environment and emotion anchors the film's mood, lending it a visceral immediacy. The filmmaker's choice to ground the fantastical within such a tangible setting enhances the narrative's resonance. Dragons, while mythical, inhabit this world not as distant legends, but as integral components of its ecology and mythology. Their nests hidden in shadowed caves, their flight paths tracing ancient currents of air, they are woven seamlessly into the fabric of the land. This integration invites viewers to consider the dragons not as intruders, but as forces of nature, mysterious, powerful, and deserving of respect. Cinematography plays a pivotal role in shaping the film's immersive experience. The visual language is crafted with an exquisite balance between sweeping panoramas and intimate close-ups. Wide shots capture the vastness of the island's terrain, the dizzying heights from which dragons launch into flight, and the expansive skies they traverse. These moments inspire awe and convey freedom, inviting viewers to feel the exhilaration of soaring above cliffs and seas. The camera's fluid movements, tracking flights, spiraling descents, and sudden shifts in perspective, mirror the narrative's blend of adventure and introspection. In contrast, the film's more intimate moments employ tighter framing and slower camera work, focusing on characters' expressions and gestures. These close-ups reveal the subtleties of emotion, hesitation, resolve, tenderness that define relationships and personal growth. The interplay between wide and narrow shots crafts a rhythm that guides viewers through the story's emotional peaks and valleys, enhancing engagement and empathy. Lighting design further enriches the film's tone. Naturalistic lighting captures the changing quality of daylight, from the soft diffusions of dawn to the stark shadows of midday and the deep blues of twilight, enhancing realism and mood. The use of chiaroscuro, with sharp contrasts between light and shadow, accentuates moments of mystery, danger, and revelation. For example, scenes set within caves or dragon lairs use controlled light sources, glowing embers, bioluminescent flora, to create atmospheres that are both enchanting and foreboding. Color grading complements the narrative's emotional palette. The film leans toward earthy tones, greens of moss and pine, browns of timber and stone, blues of sky and sea, grounding the story in nature. Accents of fiery orange and red punctuate scenes of conflict and passion, symbolizing danger and transformation. This restrained yet deliberate use of color enhances symbolic meaning without overwhelming the eye. Sound design interacts closely with the visual environment to create a fully immersive world. The ambient sounds of rustling leaves, crashing waves, distant thunder, and dragon calls weave together to envelop the audience, making the island feel alive. The nuanced layering of natural and musical elements guides emotional responses, accentuating suspense, awe, or tranquility as the story demands. Set design extends beyond architecture into the smallest details, tools worn smooth by use, fabrics dyed with natural pigments, symbols etched into wood and stone, imbuing the world with cultural specificity and history. These tactile elements invite viewers to believe in the lives lived within this world, enhancing narrative credibility and depth. The film's use of space also carries symbolic weight. The island's isolation mirrors characters' emotional seclusion, while its rugged terrain reflects the obstacles they must overcome. Open skies and soaring heights symbolize aspiration and freedom, juxtaposed against enclosed village spaces that evoke tradition and constraint. This spatial symbolism deepens thematic exploration, making setting a language through which the story speaks. In summary, the film's setting and cinematic elements coalesce into a sensory and symbolic landscape that shapes every moment of the narrative. Through meticulous design, evocative cinematography, and harmonious soundscapes, the environment becomes a character in its own right, a living, breathing backdrop that reflects and amplifies the story's emotional and thematic currents. This immersive world invites viewers not only to witness, but to inhabit the journey, soaring alongside dragons while grounded in the timeless rhythms of earth and sky. The story of how this film came to life is itself a narrative rich with unexpected moments, creative triumphs, and the kind of camaraderie that transforms a collection of individuals into a collaborative family. Behind the dazzling animation and immersive storytelling lies a world bustling with lively interactions, surprising anecdotes, and the relentless dedication of cast and crew who, together, navigated the complexities of bringing dragons and Vikings into vivid existence. These behind-the-scenes insights not only illuminate the painstaking craft, but also reveal the human spirit that infuses every frame with warmth and authenticity. From the outset, the production embraced a spirit of openness and playfulness, despite the daunting technical and artistic challenges. The director, known for his approachable style and collaborative ethos, fostered an environment where ideas flowed freely and experimentation was encouraged. One early story often recounted by crew members involves the first table read with the principal cast. Instead of a formal affair, the session was infused with humor and improvisation, setting a tone of camaraderie that carried through the months of production. Actors shared anecdotes, joked about their characters, and forged friendships that translated into genuine on-screen chemistry. Baruchel, who voices the protagonist, became a central figure in nurturing this atmosphere. His natural ease and quick wit enlivened recording sessions, breaking the tension during emotionally intense scenes. Cast members recall instances where his spontaneous ad-libs sparked laughter that broke through the sometimes heavy narrative themes, reminding everyone of the joy inherent in storytelling. America Ferrera, voicing Astrid, brought a vibrant energy and focus that balanced Baruchel's playfulness, creating a dynamic that enriched their characters' evolving relationship. The animation team's work environment reflected a shared passion and tireless dedication. Animators often worked long hours perfecting complex sequences, particularly the film's signature flight scenes. To capture the essence of soaring dragons, the team used custom-built motion simulators that allowed animators to physically experience the sensations of flight, banking turns, sudden dives, and gliding on invisible currents. These hands-on experiences informed subtle nuances in the animation, lending authenticity to movements that might otherwise have felt mechanical. The process also fostered a sense of immersion and excitement, reinforcing the emotional stakes behind the technical rigor. The film's design process was peppered with serendipitous discoveries. During a location scouting trip to the coastal fjords that inspired the island setting, the crew encountered an unexpected weather phenomenon, a sudden fog rolling in from the sea, shrouding cliffs and forests in a ghostly veil. The director immediately recognized the atmospheric potential and adjusted shooting plans to capture the eerie, mystical quality. This natural occurrence informed lighting and color grading choices back at the studio, shaping the film's moody aesthetic. Technical challenges abounded, particularly in rendering the complex textures of dragon scales, shifting light through wings, and the interplay of environmental elements like rain, mist, and fire. The visual effects supervisors recount developing new algorithms to simulate skin elasticity and airflow, pushing the boundaries of existing animation software. These innovations demanded close collaboration across departments. Animators, lighting technicians, and software engineers worked in concert, often iterating rapidly to solve unforeseen problems. The collective problem-solving spirit became a defining feature of the production culture. One amusing anecdote involves the creation of dragon vocalizations. Sound designers blended animal noises, electronic effects, and human vocalizations to craft a unique language for the dragons. During one session, a crew member's dog happened to howl just as a particular sound effect was played back, creating a serendipitous harmony that was captured and woven into the final soundscape. This moment of accidental artistry became a cherished inside story, illustrating how chance and creativity can merge to enrich the film's sensory world. Voice recording sessions were occasionally punctuated by improvisation and experimentation. The director encouraged actors to explore alternative deliveries and emotional tones, sometimes capturing moments of spontaneity that found their way into the final cut. These sessions were not only technical but deeply collaborative, with actors and directors exchanging ideas to deepen character portrayals. Off-mic, actors often engaged in playful banter, building a rapport that eased the pressures of intense emotional scenes. The choreography of aerial sequences posed unique challenges. Animators studied footage of birds of prey and acrobatic pilots, translating these observations into dragon flight dynamics that balanced grace with power. They even consulted with stunt coordinators and skydivers to understand body positioning and momentum. The resulting animation sequences required painstaking keyframe work and dynamic simulations, blending technical precision with artistic intuition. The production set designers, while working primarily in a digital realm, also crafted physical models and miniatures of key locations, such as the village and dragon lairs. These tangible artifacts served as references for lighting and spatial coherence, grounding digital artistry in tactile reality. The physical models became beloved by the team, sometimes serving as focal points during creative discussions and reviews. Despite the technical sophistication, the production faced the universal challenges of storytelling, balancing pacing, emotional beats, and thematic clarity. Editors recount numerous late-night sessions where scenes were restructured or trimmed to enhance narrative flow. These decisions were often collaborative, with input from directors, composers, and animators to ensure the final cut resonated on multiple levels. Marketing efforts reflected the film's layered storytelling. Beyond traditional trailers and posters, the team developed interactive web experiences that allowed fans to explore the film's world, learning about dragon species, Viking customs, and character backstories. This transmedia approach created an engaged community, deepening anticipation and encouraging active participation. Cast members embraced this outreach, participating in live Q&A sessions and sharing personal anecdotes that fostered a sense of connection with audiences. The emotional demands of the story necessitated support systems for cast and crew. The production invested in wellness programs, mindfulness sessions, and spaces for reflection, recognizing that sustaining creativity over extended periods requires attention to mental and emotional health. These efforts contributed to a supportive environment where challenges could be met with resilience and compassion. Years after release, behind-the-scenes documentaries and interviews continue to shed light on the film's production journey, offering inspiration to aspiring filmmakers and fans alike. The tales of innovation, collaboration, and occasional serendipity serve as reminders that filmmaking is a profoundly human endeavor, where technology and artistry converge through shared passion and perseverance. In sum, the behind-the-scenes story of this film is one of discovery and dedication, humor and hardship, artistry and innovation. It reveals the intricate dance of technical mastery and emotional truth that brings a story to life. These insights enrich our appreciation not just of the final work, but of the creative community whose collective spirit transformed imagination into cinematic magic. The film unfolds as a rich tapestry of themes and symbols, weaving together threads of fear, trust, transformation, and belonging into a narrative that speaks to the core of the human experience. Beneath its surface of thrilling dragon flights and epic battles lies a profound meditation on identity, empathy, and the courage required to challenge entrenched beliefs. The themes are not simply abstract ideas. They are lived realities embodied in the characters' struggles and the world they inhabit, inviting viewers to explore not only the story's fantastical elements, but also its deeply human truths. At its heart, the film grapples with the theme of fear of the unknown, of difference, and of change. The island community's initial perception of dragons as monstrous threats is a reflection of this primal anxiety, a metaphor for the ways in which societies often demonize what they do not understand. This fear manifests in rituals of preparation and defense, in stories passed down to warn and bind the community, and in the reluctance to question long-held assumptions. Yet, the film does not simply depict fear as an obstacle. It explores how fear shapes identity and behavior, creating cycles that can be broken only through courage and empathy. Trust emerges as a counterpoint to fear, a fragile but transformative force. The evolving relationship between Hiccup and Toothless is emblematic of this shift. Their tentative beginnings, marked by wariness and misunderstanding, develop into a deep bond that challenges the binaries of friend and foe, self and other. This progression models the film's central message, that trust requires vulnerability, patience, and the willingness to see beyond surface appearances. Trust becomes a revolutionary act in a world structured by suspicion, and through it, characters find new possibilities for connection and growth. Transformation is a pervasive theme, operating on multiple levels. Hiccup's journey from awkward outcast to courageous leader mirrors the island's broader cultural shift, from hostility to coexistence with dragons. This dual transformation highlights the interplay between individual agency and collective change. The film suggests that true transformation is not instantaneous or linear, but involves struggle, setbacks, and moments of insight. The physical metamorphosis of dragons from feared predators to allies underscores this theme, symbolizing the potential for renewal that lies within rupture. Belonging and identity are intricately intertwined themes, explored through characters who navigate the tensions between self and community. Hiccup's outsider status reflects universal experiences of alienation and the search for acceptance. His creative spirit and empathy position him as both bridge and boundary breaker, challenging rigid notions of identity based on strength or conformity. Similarly, other characters grapple with their roles and relationships, negotiating personal desires and societal expectations. The film portrays belonging not as assimilation, but as a dynamic process involving recognition, respect, and mutual adaptation. Symbolism enriches these themes, providing a visual and narrative language that deepens interpretation. Dragons themselves function as potent symbols, embodying the unknown, the feared other, and the possibility of harmony between humanity and nature. Their varied species and behaviors suggest diversity and complexity beyond simplistic categorization. Toothless, as the Night Fury, represents the paradox of power and vulnerability, mystery and intimacy, serving as a mirror to Hiccup's own contradictions. Flight is a recurring symbolic motif, representing freedom, transcendence, and the breaking of limitations. The exhilaration of soaring above the island contrasts with the constraints of village life and internal fears. Flight scenes are choreographed to evoke not only physical movement, but emotional release and transformation, making the act itself a metaphor for hope and possibility. Fire, traditionally a symbol of destruction and renewal, carries layered meanings throughout the film. It is both the weapon of conflict and the light of community. Scenes involving fire, whether in battle or ritual, underscore the duality of power. The capacity to harm and to protect, to consume and to illuminate. This dual symbolism invites reflection on the responsibilities that come with strength and the delicate balance between control and chaos. Water imagery, rain, rivers, and the sea, symbolizes cleansing, change, and the unconscious. The islands surrounding waters evoke mystery and boundary, marking both separation and connection. Water scenes often coincide with moments of emotional revelation or transition, underscoring the fluidity of identity and the depths beneath surface appearances. Mirrors and reflections appear subtly, symbolizing self-awareness, fragmentation, and the quest for wholeness. Characters are often framed against reflective surfaces during moments of introspection, suggesting the multiplicity of self and the challenge of reconciliation between different facets of identity. Light and shadow play a crucial role in the film's symbolic vocabulary. The interplay between illumination and darkness mirrors the characters' moral and emotional journeys, the struggle to uncover truth amid ignorance, to confront fears hidden in the shadows. Cinematic techniques such as chiaroscuro lighting enhance this symbolism, making visual contrasts an integral part of storytelling. The village itself is symbolic, representing tradition, community, and the weight of history. Its architectural solidity and ritual practices anchor the narrative, embodying the collective memory and cultural identity that both sustain and constrain individuals. The tension between the village and the natural world reflects broader themes of human relationship with environment and change. Relationships among characters serve as living expressions of the film's themes. The evolving bond between Hiccup and his father encapsulates the negotiation between tradition and innovation, authority and understanding. Friendships and alliances highlight the transformative power of empathy and cooperation, while conflicts reveal the costs of fear and resistance. The film's narrative structure supports these thematic explorations, employing motifs, pacing, and visual symbolism to create a layered experience. Flashbacks and shifting perspectives illustrate the fluidity of memory and identity, inviting viewers into a dialogue with the story. The balance of action and introspection allows themes to unfold organically, rooted in character and setting. In conclusion, the film's themes and symbolism form a rich, interwoven fabric that elevates it beyond a simple adventure tale. Through its nuanced portrayal of fear, trust, transformation, and belonging, and through powerful symbolic imagery, it invites viewers into a profound reflection on human nature and the possibility of change. The story's resonance lies in this delicate interplay, between myth and reality, between dragons and humans, between fear and hope, offering a timeless meditation on the courage it takes to embrace difference and soar beyond limitations. The journey from script to screen for this film was nothing short of a masterclass in innovative filmmaking, where cutting-edge technology met age-old storytelling to create an immersive cinematic experience. The techniques employed throughout the production didn't just serve as tools, but as integral threads woven into the fabric of the narrative, shaping its atmosphere, pacing, and emotional resonance in profound ways. From the meticulous animation processes to the nuanced sound design and dynamic editing, every choice was deliberate, crafted to pull audiences into a world where dragons soar and human hearts beat with fierce complexity. One of the most defining aspects of the film's production lies in its pioneering use of animation technology. Rather than relying solely on traditional hand-drawn methods or even standard computer-generated imagery, the filmmakers pushed boundaries by integrating advanced simulation tools that captured the physics of flight and the subtleties of movement. The team developed proprietary software that mimicked the aerodynamic principles of real-world creatures, birds, bats, and reptiles, to create dragon flights that felt both fantastical and believable. This software calculated wind resistance, lift, and momentum, enabling dragons to respond realistically to environmental factors like gusts of wind or sudden shifts in direction. This dedication to realism extended beyond flight mechanics. The animation team painstakingly recreated textures, scales, skin, eyes, and even the subtle twitch of a nostril or the flick of a tongue, infusing dragons with a lifelike presence. The rendering of light interacting with these textures was particularly revolutionary, with shaders that allowed scales to glisten or matte finishes to absorb sunlight differently depending on perspective. These details, while technical, had a profound narrative effect. Dragons ceased to be distant fantasy creatures and became characters with tangible presence and emotional depth. Camera work in an animated film is a unique challenge, as every angle and movement must be crafted rather than captured in real time. Here, the filmmakers treated the virtual camera as a storytelling partner, using its movements to heighten emotion and immerse the viewer. Sweeping aerial shots are choreographed with a cinematic rhythm that mimics the exhilaration of flight, soaring over cliffs, diving through narrow canyons, banking over turbulent seas. These sequences employ dynamic depth of field and motion blur to evoke speed and focus, creating a visceral experience that transports viewers into the dragon's perspective. Conversely, the film also makes powerful use of intimate close-ups, lingering on characters, faces, and gestures to convey subtle emotional shifts. These moments are framed with precision, using lighting and composition to isolate feelings like fear, wonder, or resolve. The interplay of tight shots and expansive vistas crafts a narrative balance that moves effortlessly between personal stakes and epic scope. Editing rhythms play a critical role in shaping the film's atmosphere. The editors weave a tapestry of pacing that oscillates between breathless action sequences and contemplative pauses. This ebb and flow invites viewers to catch their breath amid the thrill and to absorb the weight of quieter, introspective moments. Cross-cutting techniques are employed to build tension, particularly during chase or battle sequences, where alternating perspectives heighten urgency and emotional stakes. Flashbacks and dreamlike sequences are seamlessly integrated through creative transitions, dissolves, fades, and visual motifs that reinforce thematic continuity and psychological depth. Sound design and the musical score form the film's emotional backbone, enhancing atmosphere and narrative without overwhelming the visuals. Composer John Powell's score blends traditional orchestration with electronic textures and Nordic folk elements, crafting a soundscape that feels simultaneously ancient and contemporary. The score swells during flight sequences, rising in crescendo to mirror the dragon's soaring, then softens during moments of introspection, using sparse instrumentation to draw focus inward. Sound effects were crafted with extraordinary care. The filmmakers created unique dragon vocalizations by layering animal sounds, wolves, dolphins, owls, with synthesized tones, producing a language that is expressive yet otherworldly. Environmental sounds, wind whistling through cliffs, waves crashing against rocks, the crackle of fire, are recorded with high fidelity and mixed to envelop viewers in the film's sensory world. The strategic use of silence also punctuates scenes, heightening tension and inviting reflection. Lighting design within the animation is a sophisticated tool for mood setting and symbolism. Naturalistic lighting replicates the changing qualities of daylight, from the soft, golden hues of dawn to the harsh shadows of midday and the ethereal glow of twilight. These shifts not only enhance realism, but also underscore narrative beats, with warm light often signaling hope or connection, and colder, muted tones accompanying conflict or isolation. The interplay of shadow and light conveys themes of revelation and concealment, mirroring the characters' emotional journeys. Production design extended into meticulous digital environment building, where every rock, tree, and building was crafted with an eye toward cultural authenticity and storytelling purpose. The village architecture reflects Norse influences, with textures and structural details that ground the fantastical in a believable world. Environmental effects, such as swirling fog, rain, and firelight flicker, are simulated dynamically, interacting with characters and objects to create immersive scenes. Voice acting, while a performance art, also influenced the filmmaking techniques. Recordings informed animation, with animators syncing facial expressions and body language to vocal inflections. This integration ensured performances retained emotional nuance and spontaneity, bridging the gap between human and digital artistry. On the business side, the film's box office production was carefully orchestrated. Released during a competitive season, the marketing campaign leveraged its unique blend of thrilling adventure and heartfelt storytelling. Trailers emphasized the breathtaking flight sequences and the emotional core of the protagonist's journey, targeting a broad demographic. Early screenings garnered enthusiastic responses, fueling word-of-mouth buzz. Internationally, the film resonated across cultures, its universal themes of courage and acceptance striking chords worldwide. The film's financial success reflected not only the quality of its craftsmanship, but also strategic release timing, merchandising tie-ins, including toys, games, and apparel, and partnerships with streaming platforms. These elements combined to create a robust ecosystem that extended the film's reach and cultural footprint. Critically, the film was praised for its technical innovation, emotional depth, and narrative sophistication. Industry awards recognized achievements in animation, sound design, and musical scoring, cementing the film's status as a landmark in contemporary animated cinema. In essence, the filmmaking techniques employed were not mere technical feats but fundamental components of storytelling, shaping how audiences experience and interpret the film. From the first brushstroke of digital paint to the final edit, the synergy of technology and artistry crafted a world where dragons are not just creatures of myth but vessels of emotion, and where every frame is imbued with meaning. The film's box office success further underscores the power of such craftsmanship to captivate hearts and imaginations across the globe, offering a cinematic journey that is both thrilling and profoundly human. As we draw the curtains on this deep dive into a film that soars far beyond the surface of its fantastical premise, it feels only fitting to pause and reflect on the intricate journey we've traversed together. This story, woven with dragons, daring, and deeply human emotion, has revealed itself not merely as a thrilling adventure, but as a rich exploration of themes that resonate on multiple levels. The courage to challenge fear, the transformative power of trust, and the relentless quest for belonging and identity. We began by immersing ourselves in the film's vivid world, a rugged island steeped in myth and memory, where the wildness of nature and the warmth of community collide. This setting was no mere backdrop. It was a living, breathing character, whose cliffs, forests, and skies echoed the emotional and thematic currents that course through the narrative. The environment shaped the story's mood, its shifting light and shadow mirroring the inner landscapes of the characters. From there, we explored the plot's unfolding, tracing the young protagonist's journey from outsider to hero, not through brute force but through empathy and ingenuity. His bond with the mysterious Night Fury dragon challenged ancient prejudices and sparked a revolution of understanding within his tightly knit community. The film's rhythm balanced exhilarating flight and battle scenes with intimate moments of vulnerability, weaving a narrative that thrills and moves in equal measure. Our examination of character illuminated the rich complexity beneath familiar archetypes. The boy's struggle with identity and acceptance, the village chief's tension between tradition and love, and the fierce warrior's path from skepticism to alliance all embody the film's meditation on growth and transformation. Even the dragons, far from one-dimensional monsters, emerged as multifaceted beings whose relationships with humans invite reflection on connection and difference. Delving into the filmmaking process, we uncovered a tapestry of innovation and collaboration. From pioneering animation techniques that rendered flight with breathtaking realism, to meticulous sound design that blended ancient instruments with modern textures, the craft behind the scenes was as impressive as the story itself. The dedicated voices and artists who brought characters and landscapes to life infused every frame with authenticity and emotional resonance. Themes and symbolism threaded through every element, fear and trust, fire and flight, water and renewal, inviting us to read the film as both a mythic adventure and a profound meditation on human nature. Its layered narrative and visual motifs enriched the story's depth, rewarding repeated viewings and thoughtful contemplation. Even the film's commercial journey, its strategic marketing, global appeal, and critical acclaim speaks to the power of storytelling that combines heart and spectacle, tradition and innovation. The film's success is a testament to its ability to connect with audiences across cultures and ages, reminding us of cinema's unique capacity to inspire and unite. As we step back from this exploration, what remains is a profound appreciation for a work that transcends genre. It invites us to soar with dragons, but also to look inward, to confront our fears, embrace our differences, and find courage in connection. This film is a celebration of transformation, not only on screen, but in ourselves as viewers and thinkers. If this journey has sparked your curiosity, stirred your emotions, or deepened your appreciation for the art of cinema, I warmly invite you to stay with me here. On this channel, we delve beyond plot summaries, beyond surface reviews, to uncover the layers that make films living, breathing texts, full of symbolism, emotion, and meaning. Together, we'll continue to explore the worlds that filmmakers create, the stories that shape us, and the artistry that moves us. So, if you found value in this analysis, if you love diving deep into film with a curious and critical mind, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. Your support helps build a community of thoughtful explorers who cherish cinema as a space for learning, reflection, and shared wonder. Thank you for joining me on this adventure. Until next time, keep your eyes open, your mind sharp, and your heart ready to soar.